Good morning, everyone. Thank you indeed for attending. I'll try to keep it short because we want to really spend time on how to use the platform to get unrestricted income, which is the goal. A bit of background, I've been a fundraiser myself for over 25 years and been involved with charities as a trustee, currently a trustee on an international NGO as well as a social enterprise. And my background is technology, and hence the platform that we have here, Work for Good. In terms of the team members, we've got Gemma, who's really kind of making sure everyone is on time and getting everything sorted. We've got Kate, who will really go through the Work for Good in detail in terms of the platform. We've got Thea, who is our cause marketing expert, who will go through the toolkit. And then Rosie, who is probably one of the people I've met who's used the platform very, very creatively. And I think I'd like to thank her because she's obviously going to be talking from a practical point of view, what works and so forth from marine conservation. We want to just to give you a context, sorry, agenda. I've gone very sensitive keyboard or whatever. Agenda is roughly half an hour to 40 minutes to talk through all the different areas or whatever, and then in 15-20 minutes at the end try to leave some Q&A, which is going to be the bit I'm looking forward to being able to answer whatever. Work for Good, UK first digital kind of fundraising platform for small businesses, doing CPAs in particular for unrestricted income. A bit of context, in USA, small businesses, over 60% of them contribute in CPA sales donations to charities. And in UK, we are probably less than 5% currently of small businesses donating through CPAs or whatever. But I think if we move the dial on that for unrestricted income, 1% or so, it would actually contribute over £1 billion in donations, which would be unrestricted income, which is probably the one area that actually has not been promoted or had the service provision, basically. Our mission is empowering small businesses to donate in a very cost-effective way and compliant way. Don't need to go through in terms of why, from CSR, customer loyalty, goodwill, attracting employees, and being engaged in the local community. Oops. As I mentioned or whatever, we've got about 5.8 million small medium enterprises, which contribute about £2 trillion of GDP to the UK economy. And if you look at the small businesses in particular, they are contributing about under 49 employees contribute about 1 trillion a year to UK. So it's a sizable marketplace for the service that we're offering. To date, we've processed about 4.5 million donated to charities through small businesses and enterprises. Currently, we have on our platform pledged, sorry, Gemma, it's just automatically doing the, to about 700 charities. That's kind of the to date, moving between now and 2025. Average CPA sales donation from our data last year was about £400 per CPA. So that just gives you a bit of context. And I will leave this now to Kate to maybe pick this up from now. Yeah.
I'm Kate and I'm the partnerships manager at Work for Good, and I'm going to tell you a bit of the background of Work for Good. So I'm sure we're all very aware of the current state of fundraising in the charity sector. Some data from Ian McClintock at the Charity Excellence Framework shows us that fundraising now is worse than at the peak of COVID and at the peak of the cost of living crisis. Yeah, so charities are having to turn away income due to limited resources and capacity, minimum donation requirements for account management, a commercial participation agreement, as Neil's talked about already, for cause marketing, and restrictions on logo use. We believe that there's a unique opportunity here. As Neil said, if the SME sector donated just 1% of income, there would be an extra 1 billion of new charitable funding, which is an exciting thought. Okay, so we are trusted by thousands of charities. I know we're relatively new to the market. However, we have already gained the support of thousands of charities. Some of them are here, like Mind, Dementia UK, Tommy's, Friends of the Earth, and more. And we really appreciate the support and are looking forward to continuing and growing and reaching more charities, hopefully some of you who are here today. And we really appreciate the support. So what charities say, we have a really incredible endorsement here from Antonella at Mind, who said, our team has adopted an approach to be more efficient and effective. Using a digital CPA solution via Work for Good really helped with freeing up our fundraising team's capacity and providing much needed brand protection. So this is some research that was done a few years ago, maybe last year, and it's a bit about how much time and money is saved. So the average time saved is about 14 hours through creating CPAs through Work for Good rather than doing it manually. And the average cost saved is just over £115, which I know that's probably more now, but it's just to give you a bit of an estimate, because that's already quite a substantial amount of money. So the CPA, it's a legal agreement that must be in place in order for businesses to donate to charities through sales donations. And these agreements are usually costly and time consuming. And Work for Good has digitized this agreement, meaning that you can quickly and easily create agreements with businesses, resulting in many benefits, some of which are on the screen now. So you can raise more funds, accept corporate partnerships that would usually fall under your threshold. You get legal peace of mind, create quick and easy digital CPAs with us, and save time and money, as I've just kind of outlined in the last slide, and track your donations on our platform. It's really easy to use, and you get support to care with digital templates like we're going to give you after this webinar, and logo protection. So obviously there's a cost to use charity logos, and through Work for Good you can use our logo. And yeah, so you've probably heard enough from me and Neil by now, and I'm going to introduce Rosie. Oh, I don't know if Rosie has the screen now, but yeah, Rosie has, me and Neil both used how efficiently and effectively Rosie at the Marine Conservation Society was using Work for Good. So we thought it'd be great for her to tell you a bit about her experience, and you can learn from her. So over to you, Rosie.
Thanks, Kate. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah, all good.
Brilliant. So hello, yeah, I'm Rosie. I'm a corporate partnerships officer at the Marine Conservation Society. I started in 2020 as a community fundraiser, and our community team looked after Work for Good at the time. So we signed up for Work for Good in 2019. And for a lot of this time, we just used it for really micro companies, sole traders and artists who wanted to donate to us. but felt like for the impact that we'd get from their donation, we didn't want to spend all of their donation just creating a CPA. So Work for Good has really helped us bring on board more really small organizations. But it wasn't really until recently when I moved over to the corporate team that the corporate team took over looking after Work for Good and started integrating it into our strategy. So let's see if I can click. Is it going to work? That hasn't gone on to the next slide, has it? Let's try it with my keyboard. There we go. So factoring it into our strategy, we had to look at kind of the cost of a CPA versus the impact it would get. So with all these small companies, we'd like to bring on more small, oh, it's going automatically. Okay, we'd like to bring on more small businesses, but starting to move some of our smaller contracts over to it as well. So we set a minimum threshold that we would have for CPAs. So for us, the right amount for that was about £5,000. So anybody that has an annual donation of under £5,000 would go to Work for Good. And we're just starting to implement that now, and it's going quite well, actually. So I've got a little image there to say 79p of every pound goes on charitable activities. So we want to keep that figure. We don't want that to get smaller. And so using Work for Good, we can use less of our admin time on bringing on new partners and more time prospecting and bringing on board larger partners. I'd say we've had a few little kickback from some companies, especially with the previous model of Work for Good, in that I'm just going to go on to the next slide. It's not going on to the next slide. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, we had a few, we do get a bit of, it's not necessarily negative feedback, but people really want to know why we're passing them on to a third party. So the ways that we kind of mitigate that are making sure it's part of our core fundraising strategy and not just going, oh, okay, you don't want to do that. We don't want to lose you, so we'll make a CPA, because we're not sticking with it then. It's got to be part of that strategy. Yeah, it's still not working for me. There we go. So then really highlighting the benefits. So making sure that the company knows where their money's going and how much of that. So oh, did somebody say something? No. Yeah, so the benefits being more of their donation will go to where it needs to go. Less of with some people, their entire donation could be used making a CPA. So really highlighting that has been quite helpful. Letting them know that it's less time consuming. And we also have quite long kind of approval processes. So we have to wait for our CPAs to be approved by someone higher up, and they might have quite a lot of CPAs to approve. So less waiting times. I always tell people they can get set up on Work for Good in a day and start fundraising tomorrow. They don't have to wait on our waiting times. And then we make sure that each member still feels like they're partnered with us. So we have a bi-monthly corporate newsletter, and anyone that's on Work for Good gets added to that. And then we also do a Christmas gift guide. So all our partners get invited to that. So we make sure, especially on Work for Good, where you've got lots of lovely artists creating beautiful gifty items, everyone gets invited to our corporate gift guide, from our big partners to our small ones. Yeah, and sometimes people want to use our logo and they're not sure about using the logo for Work for Good, what message that would say. So we always encourage people, add it to your footer as a bit of a quality mark on your website. But we provide image images. So you can see we've got some people doing a beach clean, so people can talk about our work. Rather than just putting our logo on things, they can exemplify our work in their social media or on their sustainability blog. And I think that's really helped people feel like they are part of the Marine Conservation Society, rather than just donating. You know, some people don't want to be donating, they want to be involved. And I think when you say sign up to this platform, you want them to know how much of a benefit it is to them, while still being involved in the work you're doing. Yeah, so I think that's how we've kind of done quite well with it. I think Kate, did you say we've raised 19,000 through Work for Good over the past 5 years?
Yeah, it's nearly 20.
Sure.
Nearly 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, so most of that time that's been organic, just people contacting us through our website. We're going to start doing a bit more outreach, getting our comms team on board, hopefully having a quarterly LinkedIn post. So we're doing a bit more prospecting now that it's part of our strategy, and starting to attract more small businesses. Yeah, that's about it. Happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you, Rosie. There's some really wonderful insights there. Hi everyone, so I'm Thea Partridge. I'm a charity consultant and I work for a consultancy called Ethical Good. We help businesses with their CSR and marketing strategies, as well as helping charities to fundraise. And I'm delighted to be working with the wonderful Work for Good team on an ongoing basis to help charities to get the most from this excellent fundraising platform. We've reviewed the feedback from the charity sector since the buyout last year. We wanted to host this webinar to make it as easy as possible for charities like yours to maximise the number of small to medium enterprises that fundraise for you on this platform. We know it can be hard for charities to make the most of the various digital platforms out there. There are a lot, but this one's really unique. Equally, I've put together 10 resources for you to utilise really easily to help promote Work for Good out to your SMEs and to help you raise further funds to further your impact. The resources we're going to cover today are designed to help you to either engage with businesses already in your network, promote your fundraising page out to new audiences, or even to refer to lapsed business donors. So the resources include suggested wording for LinkedIn direct messaging to business owners, suggested wording and associated images where required for posts on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook and X, suggested wording for LinkedIn groups and Facebook groups. We've got an editable A4 poster template. We've written email copy and an infographic for businesses who want supported your charity, and also an email to send on to businesses who inquire, and also an awareness calendar. So lots of goodies for you guys to start using as soon as this webinar's over, really. There we go. So this is the first resource that I wanted to talk about, and it's to help you with LinkedIn direct messaging to business owners. The first resource here aims to help your charity to promote and outreach to new businesses via initial LinkedIn messaging and then subsequent follow-ups. So the suggested copy for the first message is limited to 200 characters. It's a really focused key message, and it reads, "Hi so-and-so, I'm contacting you on behalf of," and then you enter your charity name, "because we feel there's a real synergy between your business and our charity. I'd love to connect, thanks." So really short, sweet, and to the point, because that's all that really LinkedIn allows you to do at that stage. And then the follow-up message, once they've accepted your request, can be a lot longer and a lot more informative. So we suggest something like this. "Thanks for connecting. I love what your business is doing in the such and such space. I'm keen to invite you to be part of an exciting first of its kind fundraising opportunity that would benefit both your charity, your business and our charity. It involves your business fundraising via a percentage of sales of a particular product or service. This requires a legal contract, CPA, to be in place, which we have done via a unique platform called Work for Good, which has digitalised the legal agreement, making it easy, quick and free for your business to use and for us to receive your kind support. Work for Good enables businesses of all sizes to deliver social impact in a coordinated way, and importantly, it means your customers can help to raise vital income for our charity with ease. And then we've provided a really lovely quote from Forbes. 80% of customers would tell friends and family about a brand's CSR effort. So if you want shoppers to sing your praises on social media, CSR is a no-brainer. By donating a percentage of your sales to us, your business can appeal to the growing mass of purpose-minded consumers. And then the final sort of summary of this message is a CTA. To learn more about how Work for Good can benefit your business and our charity, please check out this link and start fundraising, and then just including a link through to how we help businesses. And then a sign off. So some top tips around this this resource is to allocate regular time each week to checking your LinkedIn messages to see if your initial connection requests have been accepted, and then copy and paste in your follow-ups. Keep a database of each of your leads and responses to keep track of them all, and ideally use a CRM. Please note you can, of course, use paid tools that will automate the follow-up process, but that's budget dependent. So all of the core resources that we're going to cover today are free to use approaches, but there are sort of additional top-ups you can do with paid approaches. So next resource. So this second resource here still utilizes LinkedIn. And I know it seems pretty obvious, but by posting out a link to your fundraising page from your charity LinkedIn channels will get you in front of all your many charity LinkedIn followers. So a lot of those, I imagine, will be working within businesses that can potentially fundraise for you. You just need to let them know that you have a fundraising page available and how it works. So top tips here are that you can reach and you can increase your reach and a wider audience by asking your colleagues to repost your charity post. So ask them to repost via their personal LinkedIn channels and you'll get some more eyeballs. And don't worry about posting an image. The metadata image attached to your charity fundraising page will pull through from the link that you use. So you can see this in the Oxfam, well, it's slightly off the page there, but the Oxfam example that I've popped in on this slide. So the suggested post is entitled Empowering Impact, Uniting Business, Giving Purpose to Profit. And it begins, if you work for or run a business that's looking to be more purpose-led, then we have an exciting opportunity. So this really sort of outlines who this post is for. So that's quite an important way to start a post of this nature. And then it provides information around the opportunity to fundraise via sales donation on Work for Good. And as with the previous messaging, it provides information around CPAs, why it's good for businesses to fundraise this way, the same great Forbes quote, which actually we utilize a lot throughout the resources, and a CTA to fundraise using your charity URL. And obviously remember that you need to insert your own individual charity URL within all of the content that we're providing actually. Okay, so resource 3, I'll just move on. There you go. So this is an Instagram post to be published via your charity Instagram accounts. So by using the provided Instagram visual tile and associated copy, relevant hashtags to get in front of to get out the importance of CSR fundraising, this can be really highlighted to businesses via your Instagram post. So our suggested post messaging is similar to that we've just read out, but it's been tweaked to work for the Instagram channel. So the CTA has to be tweaked within Instagram because of the nature of posting links. So the call to action for this is check out our page on Work for Good and click fundraise for us to get started with our fundraising. And then in brackets, link is also supplied via our link tree in bio. Together we can create a better future. So obviously our top tips here are that you can use Linktree to promote your fundraising page URL. However, if you don't have a LinkedIn tree, if you don't have a link tree, you should add your Work for Good fundraising page to an Insta bio for a few days after your initial posting of this message, just to give a route through to the correct fundraising page. We've provided a social tile to post with the wording here, which features a quote from Forbes about the importance of CSR. So that will really help to land well with businesses that are looking for create more purpose within their business. So a top tip here is to think about when you post this. So perhaps Giving Tuesday would be a good suggestion. So now just on to resource 4. So a lot of this is kind of the messaging is all quite similar, so it's just tweaking depending on the actual platform that we're using. So for Facebook, you can post your URL, your fundraising URL in directly, and metadata will pull up like this one here for marine conservation. I've just screenshotted that in to show what pulls through with their post. So yeah, you don't need to worry about an image for Facebook. And you've got this great clickable space that will take you through directly to your fundraising page. So there's not much more to say on that one. So, and then moving through to X, formerly known as Twitter. So with X, you're restricted to a 280 character count, which can be tricky. So we've helped just take some of the hard work out of it, and we've created a post around that limit, and also an image to attach if you want to, although the metadata does also pull through on this one. So all you need to do is copy and paste the wording that we've provided into your Charity X or scheduling tool if you have one, and then change the bit.ly link so that it drives to your specific charity fundraising page on Work for Good. To do that, just head to bit.ly.com, create your own short and customized bit.ly links, and you can sign up for free there as well. If you don't want to use the image that pulls through, you can use the alternative tile, which again uses the quote from Forbes. Or, you know, you can make your own associated images also on Canva if you prefer to do that. We're just trying to make things as easy as possible by providing images. Okay, so the next slide. Okay, we've got resource number 6, so we're whipping through these. This is just some support around using LinkedIn/Facebook groups to post content from personal accounts. So to utilise these channels effectively, you may wish to ask around your charity and find someone who works for or runs a business in addition to their role at your charity. Ask them to find LinkedIn or Facebook groups by searching for UK business groups in the search bar of each of these channels. Check that they meet rules and requirements, and also obviously ask them to join a number of them and engage in conversations with businesses. Ask that they post an edited version of the copy provided, because it needs to suit their own personal tone of voice. As with all of these resources, you'll also need to add your own charity Work for Good fundraising link. So that's really the key thing in all of this, is just to use all the channels available to you to get that fundraising link out there to the world. Okay, so slide 22. Okay, here we've got resource number 7. The aim of this resource is to make local businesses aware that they can fundraise for your charity using Work for Good. So the activation for them is to reach your charity Work for Good fundraising page using the QR code seen in the bottom right corner of the poster. From there, they can click Fundraise for Us and then get fundraising for you. They will need to register their business on our platform first, of course, but that's free. On this slide, you'll see that there's also a link to the A4 poster template. So there's a bit.ly link there on the right-hand side. We'll provide you with all this stuff at the end, so you don't need to worry about jotting anything down. It'll all be shared in the chat. So on this slide, we talk about Canva. So obviously, lots of people do use Canva. It is free to sign up to for personal use. But if you're using it for charity purposes, there is, I think, a reduced fee that they offer. But yeah, you can create free ones if you're just doing a personal account. So the steps to take for this particular resource are just to click the bit.ly link that we will provide, and then use the template for new design button on Canva. So the bit.ly link will drive you through to Canva. And assuming you've got an account, you will then be able to utilize this template that we've got here on the left, and you'll be able to edit it for your own purposes. So you can then go to QR code Monkey to create a free QR code, and the QR code that you create will need to drive to your charity URL. It's quite straightforward, and then just you download your QR code and upload it into Canva to replace, if you can see there, that QR code with your own one. And obviously you need to upload your charity logo, and then get any brand approval that is required. So once you've edited everything to how you want it, you can download the content and then share it with your team, get approvals, and then get it printed out and laminated and start sharing it in areas where you know that local businesses will see it. So wherever there's a good footfall of businesses. Yeah, so hopefully you find that one a really useful sort of visual tool, not just a digital tool. So just going to move on to the next slide. So this is resource 8. Here we've got email copy and an infographic for you to send to businesses who once supported your charity. So we've written suggested email copy for you to send to businesses who once donated, but that might now be interested in taking a different approach. So the email just quickly reads, split line, empowering impact, uniting business, giving purpose to your profits. So you might recognize that from earlier. So we're really just reusing the same sort of messaging, but throughout these different channels. Dear so-and-so, enter the contact name. I'm contacting you as in the past your business kindly donated to our charity, and I wanted to invite you to give to us again, but this time in a different mutually beneficial way via a percentage of your product or services sales. Then it outlines the information required about commercial participation agreements and how Work for Good can solve this and how it's beneficial for businesses to use Work for Good. And then you've got a CTA to get started. Check out Work for Good for businesses. So using that link to get signed up and learn more about the benefits. You can find our charity official fundraising page here. So then you include your charity fundraising page hyperlink, and then click fundraise for us, and then just pop your sign off in. So really, succinct, to the point email to them. Just some top tips here. Be sure to attach the PDF that we provide, which is the PDF the infographic you can see part of here on the right hand side. You'll get a copy of that in your package, and also ensure that you update the hyperlink, obviously, with your fundraising page link. So just almost to the end of my little bit here. Thanks for sort of sticking with me. I know it's a lot of detail. Okay, so resource 9, really similar to the last one I just read out, except it's focusing on businesses that are inquiring. So it's kind of a referral email, really. So this is essentially the same as the previous slide, but it's tweaked to serve as referral email rather than outbound. So we're just changing that intro. So we just start with many thanks for your interest in fundraising for our charity. Businesses who are looking to raise under X amount are encouraged to do so via Work for Good, which is what Rosie was referring to earlier. I think it's the 5K mark that they refer people onto. So yeah, then it just goes on to explain the mechanics of how it works. And then just finally, our awareness day calendar. So with this one, be sure to make good use of our 2024 Awareness Day calendar when planning your marketing for the remainder of the year. The calendar provides all the key awareness days throughout the year, so you can select ones most pertinent to your cause and plan marketing content around them to help drive your fundraising, and actually that of the businesses that are fundraising for you. This is super useful for them as well. So we've just got some top tips on this final slide from me around how to use this calendar successfully. So there's 5 key things. Be genuine in the awareness days that you choose and make sure they align with your cause in order to build trust. You need to plan ahead and enable content to be created and shared on several platforms around your chosen awareness day to create a bigger impact. You need to get creative with it. Find creative, fun ways to utilise some of the more light-hearted awareness days to engage your potential fundraising audience. For example, World Kindness Day. Think about crafting stories, building an emotional connection with the audience, and tell the story of why your chosen awareness day is important to your charity in particular. And think about collaborations as well. Work with like-minded organisations on communications that will reach a wider audience and drive engagements. And just finally, don't forget to use relevant hashtags for the given day to increase reach. Tag in businesses with who are warm leads for your charity, and be sure to share your Work for Good fundraising page in your Awareness Day marketing content. So I'm just going to pass you over now to Kate to take you through to the next steps. But with all of these resources, we're going to share them in a link. My colleague Gemma is going to share them with you shortly. Thanks.
Okay, so I'm sure you're all very excited to become donors now, and so let's talk about the next steps. So if you're already a member of Work for Good and you have if you already have an account with Work for Good, then the next steps for you are just to become a member. So that's just filling in our Google form and with a few more details about your charity. However, if you're not already registered on the platform, the first step for you is to create an account and then fill in the Google form. And we'll be sending links to tell you how to do that as well. And then second step is to utilize the 10 amazing resources that Thea just outlined for you to maximize the number of SMEs who are fundraising for you via Work for Good. I think with this, you kind of get out what you put into it, and as Rosie said, yeah, they've been using the platform really great. So, and then third step, which is the best step probably, start receiving funds each month via Stripe. So there is we do all of our transactions through Stripe. So there's also once you're set up on Work for Good, then you'll also be required to set up a Stripe account. So what you'll get, these are just some of the benefits of becoming a member of Work for Good. Your charity will be available to over 5,000 SMEs. I think it's closer to 6,000 now, who are interested in sales fundraising. We manage the communication with the businesses, ensuring donations are paid and that resources are shared to support them with their campaign. But you can also build relationships with the SMEs yourself, because they really appreciate it when charities are talking to them, and yeah, just kind of they feel then like a valued partner. You can refer businesses to Work for Good via like LinkedIn messaging, as we kind of outlined, or email, or people who approach you. So when they contact your charity, and it's a low-cost way to manage multiple corporate relationships. We've simplified the process, providing a digital CPA process that is legal and compliant, so you don't have to worry about the legality of anything. So this is just a bit about what it costs. So we've gone for, like, most people choose to do an annual membership. So for micro charities, that's £80. Small charities, 240, and medium, 600, large, 900. We wanted to make it as accessible as possible for everyone to come on board. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to all of us, and it'd be great if anyone has any questions, you can put them in the chat or unmute, whatever you'd like.